conclude by saying that the minority leader, an able lawyer that he is, eloquent that he is, should be advising his colleague to go and respect the court and submit to the powers of, even if you are proceeding to the Supreme Court or whichever court, you need to submit to the jurisdiction of the conference of all. You cannot be doing so as a fugitive of justice. An arrest warrant has been issued, properly issued, for his arrest. That this house cannot gloss over the issuance of an arrest warrant for him, and I still permit him to have locus. Mr. Speaker, on this note, we want to urge you that, leader, if I have your permission, let me move that the House be adjourned. The House be adjourned. Let me move that the House be adjourned.
Yes. The Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, 2 questions. The Minister for Education, 2 questions. And the Minister for Roads and Highways, 10 questions. In all, those are 23 questions. 2 are urgent, and we have 21 oral. Pursuant to Order 91, as usual, Mr. Speaker, statements may be made by ministers, and you may also admit statements by honorable members under Order 93. Papers and reports pursuant to Order 97 may be laid during the week. Motions and resolutions may be moved, debated, and consequential resolutions taken. Mr. Speaker, let me announce to the House that His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama, will be in this House on Thursday, 27th of February 2025, in accordance with Article 67 of the Constitution, to deliver the State of the Nation address. Let me just, with your indulgence, read Article 67, and it says that the President shall, at the beginning of each session of Parliament and before a dissolution of Parliament, deliver to Parliament a message on the state of the nation. This is a constitutional injunction. The President would definitely be here to deliver the State of the Nation address. And members are expected to be seated latest 9:15 a.m. Please pay attention. Members are expected to be seated in the chamber latest 9:15 a.m. The clerk has also issued additional instructions which I want to bring to your attention. All honorable members are to be seated in the chamber 9:15 a.m. This is because once His Excellency the President enters the chamber, national security will not allow any member access into the chamber. So note that once the national security takes over, no member will be allowed access into the chamber. So after 9:15, it will be difficult to have access to the chamber. Honorable members are not to enter the chamber with a stranger. So do not bring a stranger into the chamber. Only the deputy speakers and the 2 leaders will have access to the speaker's lobby. Usually the President will come in, go to the speaker's lobby, and then from there will be ushered into the chamber. Because of security arrangements, during that period, no member beyond the 2 deputy speakers and the 2 leaders will have access to the speaker's lobby. There will be limited access to the area in front of the speaker's lobby and the clerk at table's lobby. During the address, the doors into the chamber from the majority side will be locked. So from the majority side, the door will be locked. Hence, all honorable members are kindly requested to exit the chamber from the minority side or the exit at the division room. Mr. Speaker, honorable members are kindly requested to park at the forecourt of the State House, as the MP's car park area will be used by the military to form their parade. You all know that there's normally a parade.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
All right, a very good morning to you and you're welcome to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana. Today is the 24th of February 2025 and we thank God for giving us yet another day to go through the matters of the country. Let's start over the headlines and then later we'll get with the guests. I start over the daily graphic and it says President shifts gears in Galamsey fight. Excavator seizure replaces burning. 2025 Junior Graphic National Essay Competition launched. Government should not entirely fund education. Stakeholders at National Education Forum. Decade of irregularities in public institutions. 99.5 billion Ghana cedis lost to states. The Ghanaian Times. Funding educational infrastructure, we must not rely solely on GetFund. Administrator. Government. President Mahama holds talks with Deputy UK Prime Minister Sao Tome. President. GIS intercepts cocoa concealed in 1,115 gallons. Levy 0.5% on diaspora remittances to fund SHS. Levy 0.5% on diaspora remittances to fund SHS. Daily Guide. NIB targets NPP bigwigs. Arrests Amir Kunfi, invites Arbronye. NEIP sacks staff. SML sues Manasseh for defamation. Pram Shai resolve boundary disputes. Soldier killed, 6 others injured in armored car accident. The new crusading guide. The fail of Atoesian, lawyer review top secret. Osustu Council supports Ni Osaihene IV as traditional rep for KKMA. Ghana's Day of Shame is also here with public lecture theme Africa and China in the effort to construct a new world, the perspective of Mao and Nkrumah. The speakers are Dr. L.I. Bo. I cannot really see it well because the printout is a little poor. Chief Executive Officer of the Guancha Syndicate and a senior fellow of the Tricontinental Institute for Social Research. SML sues demands 21 million for Manasseh for defamation. BCM Ghana raises concern over property dispute involving top gold miner. New GPHA Director General calls for discipline among staff. And the top right corner says that government committed to ensure seamless implementation of SRM NPA balls. The Insight newspaper. Police raid on Adjugano land case leaves 3 wounded. IGP denies involvement as GT, that's Greater Accra Regional Commander, cites ghost petition. It was 8 years of wastage, Mahama Blaster Akufo-Addo, over poor handling of Ghana's economy. Atoesian lawyer says he is a victim of Akufo-Addo's punitive policies. Our Win Traditional Council chases MP over Galamsey, demands retraction or face consequences. 4 families of Danchira sets. No, 4 families of Danchira. Is it Danchira or Danchira? Because the Danchira, I know this is not how it's spelled. So, sets record straight on the prolonged land ownership dispute with Ni Jambi Amu. The Herald. Defense Minister asked to probe military land sold under Akufo-Addo. Minerals Commission boss PR stunt to keep his job amid Galamsey crisis. Minerals Commission boss in PR stunt to keep his job amid Galamsey crisis. VHOBU 1995 group advocates for educational reforms at 30th anniversary launch at Bobu. NIB to question NPP's Abronye over 550 million Ghana cedis allegation against Mahama. NEIP's fake employment status reviewed. Angry ex-communication dictator defends new CEO. Interest. The Informer. NIB pursues NPP's Abronye over allegations against Mahama. Revocation of appointments, we told you so, as government defense decision. Galamsey fights coalition faults minister over concrete measures to address it. IES predicts doom so if. As Nana Amwesi, the energy expert is talking and predicting if. We also have at the top right corner, alleged neglect of officer, police refutes claim. The Inquisitor. SML sues Manasseh, demands 21 million Ghana cedis in damages. Ghana's economy in worse shape than anticipated, Dr. Atoforsen. Napo speaks in Kenya tomorrow. President Mahama to deliver SONA on February 27. NPA boss affirms government commitment to ensure seamless implementation of CRM. The top right corner, we haven't received any fire tender in about 15 years. Fire Service PRO. The Custodian. Minority puts Mahama on notice. VRA ladies and retirees pledge full support for Obin Kenzo. NIP chases NPP gurus, detain Ameya Okunfi, summons Abronye. I'm interested in this story. VRA ladies retirees pledge full support for Obin Kenzo. The Volta River Authority retirees and Ladies Association have pledged full support for the new acting chief executive of the authority, Engineer Edward Obin Kenzo. Now, this endorsement and support follows a series of separate and frank stakeholder engagement by the new leader of VRA to strengthen relationship and build a collective ambition to improve the performance and efficiency of Ghana's premier energy production company. In this meeting with the retirees, Engineer Obin Kenzo expressed appreciation for the dedication and hard work of past employees, emphasizing the role they continue to play as ambassadors for VRA. The custodian. Oh, that's the custodian. I'm done. So the Daily Post. Ex-NSA Deputy Director Kweko Ohinijan arrested over ghost name scandal. Gifty Owari Mensa on the run. Professor Amiyo Kumfi arrested over $2 million SkyTrain scandal. Mahama helped but Akufo-Addo destroyed Capital Bank, says private legal petitioner. NIB summons Abronia DC over wild claim, and President Mahama is hoarding 550 million Ghana cedis. Activities to commemorate the 68th Independence Day anniversary released. All right, we'll give you the details later as we go through the show. All right, let's take a breather. I'll be back shortly.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh bread.
I'm a fat missy way.
Repacho Bantama.
Machasi.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Jidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasa. Kile hosing. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will so feeling to when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Fire pomudi ni agobi Ghana fueni age efi say ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me de go me jollof mu ni me still ahodoma e ma ne dance
Stanley, the barbecue they go on.
sankofa natural spices and one you use 100% natural said the yepen no
Adofo mamunye huge mistake sankofa natural spices the year
FDA ejedi nkratu yatu.
Look around.
home also need a makeover.
Mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Matching furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection?
dressing up is just a breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashphone store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashphone, feel it, know it. Jeans energy drink.
Fire pomudi ni agobio Ghana fu ni age efise ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me de go me jollof mu ni me still ahodoma emane dance
Stanley, the barbecue they go on.
See natural sankofa natural spices and one you use 100% natural.
Adofo, mamunye huge mistake. Sankofa natural spices. Didier.
FDA ejedi nkratu yatu.
Brush your teeth. Brush 2 times a day. Brush with Kel Kids.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel Kids Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel Kids, happy smile.
You're welcome back to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana. This morning we're hosting the member of the NPP communications team and the former deputy executive secretary for the Postal Courier Services Regulatory Commission. She's former now. Welcome. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Nani.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
I'm good. I heard you resigned. Or
no,
you were
I resigned.
fired?
I tendered in my resignation in December, but I got a termination, I think 2 days after I appeared on your show.
You got a termination after
yes, it doesn't add up, but maybe the person signed the letter.
Oh, you got a termination after you appeared on the show?
Yes.
I asked you if you had...
You asked me if
you are still in office at post.
And I told you, you know, for public service institutions, you give time. I mean, in every institution,
you give about notice. A month or 3 months notice.
You give a notice. In public service, I think it's
3 months.
3 months, but some is 1 month because I did a bit of a consultation. But what I was advised in the office was 3 months. So I tendered in my resignation dated 20th December. I mean, definitely I report through the executive secretary, so it has to go through her to the minister. 2 days after I appeared on Metro TV, and you asked me that interesting question, I received a termination. I found it quite weird, but hey, maybe the person who signed the letter just wanted to feel good signing a termination for me, so that's fine. But I mean, these are some of the downsides of taking political appointments. I'd made my intention to leave and I hadn't hidden it from anyone. So it was even mentioned by my boss at the last management meeting I attended. But it's quite strange that you tender in a resignation and you receive a termination. I haven't heard that in any HR practice. Maybe it's new. Maybe it's part of the reset.
So when the sacking letter came, what did you do? Did you respond to it?
No, why should I respond to it? I should respond that I've accepted termination or what? No,
I resigned already.
No, there's no need. There's no need to drag some of these things.
Because your resignation is on
record.
record.
These things will be on record.
On record.
There's no need to push these things. There's no need to. I mean, whether you push, you don't push. I was leaving anyway.
Right. So let's welcome Gabriela Tete. She's not been on the show for a while. I don't know. When last did you come? Last month?
No, I sure.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's when we took the picture on your flyer, isn't it? But prior to that, I showed up in a red dress. I showed up in an NDC dress. And then I came in cloth. So I think that was the last time.
Okay, you're right. We haven't seen you in a
was
while.
I here with you?
I think so.
Oh, then it wasn't last month.
It wasn't last month.
That was
so like two months.
Oh, well,
maybe a little over a month.
A little over a month, yeah. Because I've been here. I was here 2 weeks ago. That's after, and I hadn't been here for about 3 weeks or 4 weeks after
she came.
We came.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gabriela Tete, good morning to you. She's the Central Regional Communications Director for the NDC.
Communications officer.
Sorry, Communications Officer.
She's been saying a lot.
She's been saying a lot. What has she been saying?
Oh, don't worry. She'll tell you herself.
Gabriela, what have you been saying?
If you know, been out for the right yet. Even if I don't say anything, and I whisper to myself, she will equate and said I said it. So the best is
well, it's your job. It's your job to actually say a lot.
She's been saying a lot. She said she made some comments about their regional minister. Very interesting comments.
Oh, what did she say?
Let's move on.
She says we should move on, so let's move on.
Do you want to repeat what you said?
About what?
About the minister.
Oh, my point has been made. Let's move on. It's old news.
It's new news to me.
It's old news. Let's move on. I probably have more things to say about other people.
Gabby.
They are new appointments, so maybe she has things to say about the new ones. The old ones are gone.
Okay. Okay, so let's get into the substantive issues for the day. We'll start off with Labour. A lot has been happening. His Excellency, the President, has actually sat with Labour. Quite unusual, because sometimes when the negotiations are happening, it happens amongst ministers and stuff like that. But maybe by the nature of what was going to be discussed, the president just needed to be there, and he was. We'll give you maybe a brief of some of the videos they shared with us, and then you understand what happened and some of the comments he made. But we had the issue of the salary increments, which is 10%. The minorities raised issues about it. So this is what Afenyo is saying. Abraham Comson, Secretary General of the Ghana Federation Labour, has refuted claims, refuted the criticism from the minority leader, Alexander Afenyo regarding the government's recent salary, that's a 10% salary increment for the public sector workers. Mr. Comson says that Mr. Afenyo remarks reflects a misunderstanding of a legal framework governing the sector salary negotiations. Now, in a parliamentary session on February 21, 2025, Afenyo labelled the 10% salary increase as insufficient, comparing it unfavorably to previous increments ranging from the 10% to about 30% between 2017 and 2024. He suggested that the current adjustment falls short of workers' expectations. And Mr. Kumsin also emphasized that the public sector salary negotiations are conducted within the confines of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. He highlighted the end of the April each fiscal year. Now, he highlighted Section 19 of the Act, which mandates the salary compensation negotiations be concluded by the end of April each fiscal year to facilitate the inclusion of subsequent year budgets. Now, let me read this one also to you, which regards the minimum wage. So just in case you don't know what the minimum wage is today, the new rate will come into effect on the 1st of March 2025. So let me read in full. The National Tripartite Committee, NTC, has announced a 10% increase in the national daily minimum wage for 2025, raising it to 19.97 Ghana cedis. I was going to say 19.97 million. I wish it was in the millions. But this new rate will come into effect on the 1st of March 2025. The decision was made after considering the current economic challenges, the cost of living, and the sustainability of businesses. The NTC, which includes respectives from the government employees, government employers, and organized labor, underscored the importance of maintaining employment levels while addressing economic hardship. A communique signed by the Labor Minister, Dr. Pelpo, Ghana Employer Association President Nana Dr. Emmanuel Edusa Akodie, and TUC General Secretary Joshua Ansa highlighted that 2025 NDMW will be exempt from tax. Dr. Popo also outlined the outcome of negotiations, warned that institutions or organizations failing to comply with the new minimum wage would face sanctions under the law. He reiterated the government's commitment to improving living standards while balancing economic stability. Now, at the same time, negotiations with CLOCSAC doesn't seem to be going to as far as CLOCSAC strike is concerned. So just in case you go into any government office today for work, I'm told that they are rescinding the decision. I'm not sure. I'm still cross-checking at the back. And when we get the confirmation, we will know. But as of yesterday, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association Ghana CLOCSAC resolved to continue its nationwide strike following the National Executive Council NEC meeting held on Saturday. The decision comes despite an appeal from Mr. Abdul Rashid Popo, the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, for the strike to be called off. Addressing the media after the meeting, Mr. Isaac Bampo Addo, the Executive Secretary of CLOCSAC, said the NEC unanimously decided to maintain the strike, citing the absence of a clear roadmap to resolve the matter. CLOCSAC has been protesting the appointment of Mr. Samuel Adomboche as the Registrar of the Births and Deaths Registry, arguing that such a position would remain politically neutral. On Saturday, 22nd of February 2025, the National Executive Council of CLOCSAC met to consider a request from the Minister of Labour, Jobs and Employment to call off the ongoing strike action by constituents of CLOCSAC. Let's have you a video of His Excellency when he met with Labour to, get into the negotiations in terms of 10% increment of salary and also the minimum wage, and some of the comments he made about the economy, why we are where we are.
Comrades, you know we are your natural allies, and we've worked together for many years. One thing that is a cardinal principle for us is to tell the truth at all times. We all knew the economy was in crisis, but some of the things I'm discovering myself, I mean, it's been a criminal handling of our economy. And Ghana is a crime scene, actually, because how a government can have been so reckless, I cannot understand. But we're faced with a reality, and our options are very few. We can behave like the ostrich and hide our heads in the sand and let the economy crash. But then what effect would it have on Ghanaian households and everybody? And so I've told him, I said, cut expenditure as much as you like. Even we ourselves in Office of Government Machinery, cut as much of our budget as you like, because we all must make those sacrifices. A certain distrust of the political class has arisen, because it's like when everybody else is tightening their belts, the political class is loosening its belts. But I want to assure you that we're all going to tighten our belts, and there will be no wasteful expenditure. It is said that we create and share. And so let's start cooking the meal now so that we can share when we have created. But right now, the meal is not only insufficient, the cooking pot is even leaking. And so I'll just appeal to you that let's tamper our demands for this year. And once we get out of the woods, we've set good targets to bring inflation down so that the cost of everything will come down. We've set targets to grow the economy, to make things better. And when the cake is baked and it's bigger, we'll share bigger. We are proposing an independent emoluments committee that would set the incomes for everybody from the president right down to the ordinary laborer. We're prepared to walk this journey with you, but I just appeal to you that let's reach agreement on this one so that we use this year as the year of correction. And then after we've corrected, we'll see how the economy continues to go. Once the economy moves in the direction that we are all hoping for, we all, if we have an independent emoluments committee, maybe if you suggest 35%, I'll support you because it will affect my pay too. Comrades, you know we are your natural allies, and we've worked together for many years. One thing that is a cardinal principle for us is to tell the truth at all times. We all knew the economy was in crisis, but some of the things I'm discovering myself, I mean, it's been a criminal handling of our economy. And Ghana is a crime scene, actually, because how a government can have been so reckless, I cannot understand. But we're faced with a reality, and our options are very few. We can behave like the ostrich and hide our heads in the sand and let the economy crash. But then what effect would it have on Ghanaian households and everybody? And so I've told him, I said, cut expenditure as much as you like. Even we ourselves in Office of Government Machinery, cut as much of our budget as you like, because we all must make those sacrifices. A certain distrust of the political class has arisen, because it's like when everybody else is tightening their belts, the political class is loosening its belts. But I want to assure you that we're all going to tighten our belts.
Welcome back to the program. All right, so those are some of the words, just in case they repeat. You heard Mr. President describing the situation as a criminal way of handling the economy. He couldn't understand. He mentioned things like There's not going to be wasteful expenditure. He mentioned things like the cooking pot is already leaking. Mr. Mahama has very interesting ways of sometimes describing the economy. Like we have chewed the meat to the bone. This time it's the cooking pot is already leaking. And there's probably going to be some independent emolument committee as well. When that is instituted, we will definitely give you the updates. Also note that this week His Excellency is going to be presenting the State of the Nation's address, and we will be there to bring you the details on the 27th of February. So I'm already receiving some calls. If you may, do text me. I know the person who is calling me is watching. But please text me. I'm not going to mention him, but text. Let me know what the issue is, and I will read if it has to be on air. If not, then we'll take it like that. But let me come back to the guest in the studio. Laura, let me start off with you. It's a description of the criminally handled economy, which, according to the president, has brought us to where we are. The 10% increment, which of course the minority has raised concerns that why do you raise it all the way from 30% that we took the country to 10%? It means that you're doing nothing. And well, CLOSAC already is on strike over some appointment. That has nothing to do with the economy, but over some appointment that they are not happy with. But definitely that will affect revenues coming in and all that, and they are refusing to go back because they say that there's no clear roadmap that has been given as to how whatever their demands are will be achieved. And so until that clarity is made, I think this strike stands. There are some members, I'll read it to you later, but there are some associations who have decided to disassociate themselves from this strike. I think I have the story somewhere here. When I pick it out, I'll read it. But Laura too,
yes,
let's start with you.
Yeah, good morning to our viewers. That's an interesting description of the economy by the president. It begs the question as to the promises he made during campaign. On what basis did he make those promises? On what basis did he make the promise for the 3-shift system? On what basis did he make all the promises he made to the people of Ghana? On what basis did he sign that 120-day social contract with the people of Ghana? Is this a way of backtracking from the promises he made during the campaign and the social contract that he signed with people? That is the question we should be asking, because I find it quite interesting. And interestingly enough, whilst I was trying to prepare, I chanced on a video by the chairman of the NDC. I mean, basically saying that during campaign, you make promises knowing the reality of the situation in the country. So whatever promises you made, don't give excuses, fulfill them. His Excellency Mahama, then candidate Mahama, made promises to the people of Ghana. Economy was a big deal during the campaign. If Labour thinks that the 10%, which is quite low, that's about 18 and change, 18 and some pesos, 18 cedis and some pesos to 19 cedis and some pesos. I remember in the run-up to the election, we had people in the NDC, people who sympathized with the NDC, coming into studios with kenke, cocoa, and all kinds of things, telling us what the prices are. How much is a loaf of bread? How much is kenke? So if Labour believes that the very low 10% that they've been given, we had low increments. Even that one, it was supported with cola. In the peak of COVID and all the challenges we're going in, he has come into government from a 54 inflation rate to some 24, 22% of inflation rate, and he's talking about a crime scene. I think he should get to work and stop giving the people of Ghana and organized labor excuses.
But when before he came into office, when you ask what promise he made, you should deliver the promises. I think the number one promise was to reset the economy.
Well,
so it means that he took into consideration what was already happening, based on which he gave a promise of "I'm coming to reset."
Well, from what he's saying and the excuses he's giving, it's more of a rewind than a reset.
A rewind?
Yes, it's a rewind, not a reset. From what they're doing, it's more of a rewind, not a reset.
Explain that.
Explain what? They knew what the situation was. They had members in parliament. They claimed they gave us alternative solutions that we didn't.
Come to think of
unless
it,
they
a
didn't
rewind
think,
and a
unless
reset.
they didn't.
A rewind and
you
a
understand
reset.
a rewind?
No, a rewind and a reset is almost the same thing.
No.
It's almost the same thing. And I said it's almost the same thing.
No, it can't be the same
How
thing.
is it not? Because if
A
you want to reset
reset
something,
is
you want to
going
send it back
to
a certain point.
Back to factory settings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And that's
but
rewind.
you're rewinding to something that you've seen before. He's going back.
It's the same
He's
going back,
backtracking.
resetting. So whether he's
He made promises based on the fact that he knew the solutions to the situation that we had, and he was going to kickstart those interventions that he promised. Is that what he's doing? He's lamenting.
No, but he
on
said,
how
okay,
the economy
but he
was
said
run. But you knew
the economy was
you knew when
criminally.
you were mean. I mean, that's an unfortunate statement to me, to put it bluntly. He knew what he was coming to face. So now, giving excuses, he should face and fulfill the promises he made to the people of the Republic of Ghana. He should fulfill the social contracts he signed with the people of Ghana. Stop giving excuses.
What were you expecting for him to have done to the salary increment that we're seeing, minimum wage that we're seeing?
What I know basically is you make people better, you don't make them worse. That's why you're only demoted when you commit an infringement, and promoted when you are doing well. The last increment was what? Over 20%. You're bringing it back to 10% and giving excuses. You didn't know when you were promising a better standard of living for the people of Ghana. Does 10% make the standard of living better? Those are the questions we should be asking. They knew what they were going to do. They made promises, just as they told us in 2017. Please fulfill the promises. Ghanaians gave the NDC an overwhelming endorsement based on their promises and the things they said. And I think they should fulfill them and stop giving excuses.
Carella, I see you're scripting, but we can still come to you. Wait.
I don't even know where to start with Loratu.
You never know where to start with me. Start from the beginning.
What kind of bungalas analysis did you just do?
Madam,
do we eat percentages?
Say what you want to say. What you want to do.
Let me correct you.
Are they going to eat
it's
percentages?
okay. Let me correct you.
Please make your analysis. We can have a very nice show.
Hold on.
Please.
You are complaining
that your choice of words. Please.
Okay, you mute. Don't worry. Annie, she's complaining that they increased the minimum wage by 20-something% to 18.15 Ghana cedis, 18 cedis, 15 pesos in 2024. She is comparing that to an increase to 19.97
in 2025
as a retrogression. It's 18
as
to
a
19.
rewind.
As a rewind.
Mm-hmm.
It still means a retrogression. 18 to 19. Do you move forward from 18 to 19, or do you move backwards when you're counting 18 to 19?
It's based on what percentage are you building your 10% on? If you hadn't been increased to that level, would you be getting the percentage you're getting?
Which one?
What sort of analysis
you increase which one?
There was an increment.
The 20-something%.
So if
that brought us to 18.
Let's
so
say
comparing
it was
18 to 19.
So do an analysis of
Comparing,
10%
that's
increment
exactly
in
what we are doing.
2024.
That's exactly what we are doing. We are
What
comparing.
percentage would you have been getting at 10%?
We are comparing
Please do
your
proper analysis.
18.15.
Don't so stop the propaganda.
No.
We are not in
At the end of the day, nobody is going to eat percentage. You don't go and buy the bread that she was complaining about.
Stop talking about.
And tell the bread seller, I'm buying bread because I have 10% salary. You go and pay with hard-earned currency. You pay cash, money. The bread you are complaining about and all the other things you spoke about, the cake and everything. For us at February 2025, we haven't seen any increment in the price of these products.
Oh,
what we are experiencing is a carry forward from 2024 December. So it was your government that determined.
The effect of economic indicators from December.
Hold on. It was your government that determined the price of bread in 2024 December.
Wow.
While you were voted out, and that is why the people of Ghana changed government and brought in the NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And that set some basic principles. Any increment in salary, in wages, is factored on two key principles. The first one being the current cost of living, and secondly, the ability to pay. As at December 2024, our inflation rate stood at between 23.5 to 23.8. Clearly, if we were to give a living wage, it should be within these parameters. But the question is, do we have the ability to pay? There's a government that has been in power for barely 2 months. We are here to hold our National Economic Forum that is going to look at the broader economy of this country, setting the principles that is going to be factored, amongst other things, into the 2025 budget, which will be read next week or the next 2 weeks by Honorable Ato Forson. And then after that, we'll set in motion the key parameters that the NDC campaigned on in this 2024 manifesto that brought us into office, into power. Those are the elements that is going to revive this economy. And then, as His Excellency has promised Labour, brighter days will surely come. But Loratu, let us not, because of politics, in fact, petty politicking, try and change basic principles. And secondly, His Excellency mentioned that we're going to have public sector wages rationalization, which is very key to all public sector workers, not just those in a CLOSAC.
To be done by the Independent Emolument
Exactly,
Committee.
because it was our promise that we're going to do away with ex gratia. And we're going to look at pay rationalization from the presidency all the way to the minutest worker on government payroll. And that is what His Excellency re-echoed, which means that, indeed, he's committed to see to it that we have that committee in place to make sure that public sector wages is fair and just to all workers. You have some places where somebody is earning a monthly salary of 80-something thousand. You have another place where somebody with the same experience, same qualification, same level is earning as little as 3,000 for same number of hours of work. And some people even, their jobs entails more activity than other people. But because of all these discrepancies within public sector space, it kind of demotivates people, it doesn't incentivize them, it makes the whole government payroll system a bit messy. And so His Excellency has committed that he's willing to have the Independent Emolument Committee to sit down and rationalize the entire public sector payroll. So as I said, there are good days ahead. I think that government labor, public sector labor, and indeed all employees within the country understand that what the NDC has inherited, and I'm sure every single day you hear in the news tidbits about what is going on in various agencies and how corruption was the order of the day, including from national service to, everywhere you go. Now, every agency is having to deal with so much debt on its books. And Annie, that alone can demotivate a government. But His Excellency says, despite all that, we can't allow the economy to sink. We just have to take the bull by the horn. Don't play ostrich with your head in the ground and you're behind poking out to fix the problem, because that is what Ghanaians voted the NDC in to do, to reset and to move the economy forward. And resetting is not retrogression. You don't have to rewind and go back to reset. We can halt the decay today and then the reset can start. And I believe that His Excellency and his team are up to the task, and so far they have proven themselves that they are capable. And the most important part is that they are willing to see to it that it is done.
All right, Larati, you want to make some?
It's interesting that in 2025, where we have a president who's been part of this whole process before, we are talking about salary and having a committee or a task force like they've been doing, setting committees for committees and a task force to be looking at salaries. What informed single spine salary? But in the quest to rush it in 2020, some spines were broken.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to single spine structure? It was started in 2006, implemented in 2010. Who was in power in 2006 was President Kufuor. Because President Kufuor made that profound statement that we're pretending to be paying people, and we're pretending to work.
But do you remember the criticisms of the coming in of the single
spine even implemented according to the letter that created a single spine? You created some ad hoc thing and then you put it in the system. That is why we are here.
It was started in 2008. There was 2006. You can check with Fair Wages Salary Commission. It was started in 2006. It was implemented in 2010. Right. Mm-hmm. You remember even people in the police service made a lot of noise about it when the implementation started. That was equal pay for equal work in a way to do it. But places like Ghana Health Service had a longer spine than what was being implemented. How did we deal with all those things? But if in 2025, you have a president who was vice president then, when single spine was there, is now talking about putting together a team to look at emoluments, then we have a problem. Because how can we always leave the systems? That is why were they not the same people that were calling for review of policies and all those things? And you have policies and you think you should move away from them and do other things. And you come and sit here and tell me that you are now going to have an economic forum. Why? You didn't think you were going to win when you were saying all those things, when your members of parliament were saying all kinds of things, when you were pushing all that. Why do you put a manifesto together? Why do you put a manifesto together? Why do you put a manifesto together? Why do you put a manifesto together?
Laratu,
why do you put a manifesto together?
So this was published by Joy on the 21st of February 2023. Hey. Single spine salary structure has totally failed to achieve its objective, Joshua Ansan. It says that the Deputy General Secretary of the Trade Unions Congress, Joshua Ansan, says the single spine salary structure has totally failed to achieve its objective. The single spine salary structure is one of the major components of the single spine pay policy introduced by the government of Ghana, and it got implementation in 2012 to regulate the implementation of public we know. So it goes on to say it was meant to address the pay disparities within the sector. However, following a 2022 Ghana Statistical Service report, it has revealed that the pay gap has rather widened over time. Currently, the highest earner on the single spine salary structure is receiving 81 times what the lowest earner is receiving. Speaking on Joy News, Mr. Joshua Ansan noted that it was time for the policy to be re-looked at comprehensively to ensure that the situation is remedied.
So isn't that the conversation
we're supposed to have? And that is the promise.
Isn't that the conversation we should have? Look, listen, Gabby, let's not stop. Let's not do this. We are talking about petty politicking. We are talking about Ghana here.
We are talking about Ghana.
Why does a political party put together a manifesto?
So that when
it's based on the
what
information you have, your understanding of what the situation is, and the solutions you come and prefer. So if you are now coming to city and tell me that you are going to have a forum after you've read your budget.
No.
What are you talking about?
No.
A forum after the budget.
That's what
or
she
the
said,
budget
unless I didn't hear clearly.
No. The National
You're going to have a forum.
No. It's before
after
the budget.
You've read your budget.
No. Don't try your
unless I didn't hear it clearly.
You did not hear me clearly. You wanted to hear what you wanted to hear so you can do mistake.
The president is giving the State of the Nation when? On the 27th, right?
State of the Nation on the 27th.
The budget is supposed to be read on what? The 7th or 11th of March.
And in between is the economic forum.
So in between,
how ridiculous
so
can
in between
we
the national
seriously,
forum, how ridiculous can we be?
The National Economic Forum and then the budget. Sorry, the State of the Nation, the National Economic Forum, then the budget.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, look, like I said.
So it's SONA first,
the
Economic Forum, then the budget.
Unless they put together their manifesto without taking into consideration, they signed the social contract without taking into consideration all the things that they were saying. Maybe they were throwing those things in the air, but they never factored those things in their manifesto. But one thing the NDC should not lose sight of the fact that they didn't bring in a candidate that is new to governance. They brought we now have a president who is not new to governance and has been at every level of our governance structure. From MP to deputy minister to vice president to president and back as president. You can do better than they are doing.
Lawatu is not finding a mojo in this opposition. And very, very simple things. She's trying to make a whole, I don't know. His Excellency delivers a State of the Nation address. 3rd to 4th March, we have a National Economic Forum. The outcomes and recommendations from that forum already Honorable
they've had one before, remember?
All these agencies.
They had one
for
before,
their
remember?
Into the budget. Now we need more recommendations on how
in the name of research. We are rewinding.
On how to move this country forward together. Together. Our manifesto said building the Ghana we want together. So now we have an economic forum from the 3rd to the 4th, and the outcomes and recommendations from this forum will find expression in the budget, and then we all move forward. What is so difficult to understand about this? It's only Loretta who is suffering this morning.
How am I suffering?
And then she asked,
you are the one suffering to explain. You are the one trying to say, this will not be the first time they are having a forum anyway.
Please, she's asking us, why are we having a National Economic Forum? Why did we promise things in our manifesto? But the National Economic Forum is situated in our manifesto, and it's part of the 120-day social contract that His Excellency has signed with the people of Ghana. And then she complains about setting up committees. Annie, is setting up committees a new thing in this country?
I thought they were resetting.
Is it a new
so
thing?
So if I tell you they are rewinding,
is it not part of the operating procedures of any organization to be setting up committees to do all kinds of stuff? Does that change anything?
But the assurance should be that these committees will give us positive results.
And so far, which of the committees have you heard about that is not producing positive results? So far, which one? She makes. I have to go back to.
Oral came out with a document that has to be audited again. That's what the former Auditor General said. The things in the oral document have to be audited again.
Oral was before a preparatory team. Every time this issue comes up, I always say it's a preparatory team.
Was there a committee or not?
Yes, but it was a preparation committee. It was a preparation committee.
So now So okay. So now you are admitting that the committees are working and they are producing outcomes.
The committee goes
so now
to
what's
work.
your
We are
complaint?
talking about recommendation. They are now saying all that they've done has to be audited before anything can be done about it. You said which committee hasn't produced. How many of the committees are
can't just pick a document?
I'm sorry.
You know, they are resetting.
They
said they are resetting. So far they haven't done anything.
When oral was set up, remember that there were criticisms against oral.
Oh, they explained and
hold
explained.
on. That oral did not have the legal powers to prosecute anyone, remember?
But in a country where your president says you are trying to cut costs, and cutting costs alone is not only about the financials. Cutting costs is also how judiciously you use your time.
But how did oral?
How judiciously you use your time. So if oral was to prepare the foundation for the Auditor General to proceed,
it was not the Auditor General.
The Attorney General to proceed.
And all the other anti-corruption bodies.
I don't think the document, every day you people add new things to what you say.
Some of the things that
I don't think that the document they gave the Attorney General needed to be audited again before it can be used.
Why?
What were they supposed to do? Get it right, because they are the people who were put in oral were the ones that were accusing people all over this country of a lot of things. I don't think they even needed a lot of time to do if they really believed in all those allegations and accusations they threw in the air. So that's what I'm saying. Cutting costs is not only about the finances. Judicious use of time is also
Dr. John Kwachi?
important.
Dr. who?
John Kwachi. Do you know
Dr. John Kwachi?
Yes.
Okay, so he has sent a message. He says that, Larata, you know him, right? You should know him. Yes, Dr. John Kwachi.
Oh, yeah.
So he says, the president made very assuring and commendable statements during his interaction with Labour. Notably, one, his promise to introduce a universal salary scale for all public workers, including the president. Two, his promise that the political class will equally tighten their belt. Three, his promise to deal seriously with the high cost of living such that future wage adjustments will be more meaningful and beneficial to workers. Thank you, Dr. Kwachi.
Honey, you see, what you do, yes, because you think that you are sitting here doing campaigning. We heard what you said and we've read your documents.
So how are you expecting their campaign promises to be implemented? Is it that they should just start without setting up committees? They should just start implementing? They should not look into the books? What exactly do you want them to do?
If Gabi is sitting here, part of the campaign, and Dr. Kwachi has to be sending things to back her up, then you see how well she's explaining what she's explaining. What I'm saying is how you move. I mean, obviously, they've been in power for a couple of months, but statements that were made in the, unless they are saying that the statements were made in the vacuum, then we can give them that thing. Or they come and tell us that all the things that they were saying and preferring were not the truth. They didn't know what they were saying. Then we can move on a clean side. But they made an emphatic statement. Look at even the sacking of Ghanaians. Yesterday I cited an employment letter that was given in September 2024. The person has been dismissed. But the president then candidate was explicit that he was not coming to sack people who have been employed duly. The people are being sacked.
Who have been employed duly?
Yes, duly. Who have been employed duly. And you go through a process. And what the letter that the chief of staff wrote said 7th December. After 7th December. So how do you sack someone with a letter in employment given in September? It's outright vindictiveness.
Loretta,
Contrary to
why did
what
you employ people after 7th December?
Why do you do it?
Why did you employ people after 7th December?
Annie,
even if legally you're
listen,
still working,
people
how do you morally sit and say, I know I've lost elections, but I've employed these people?
Annie, employment is not done, it's not an event, it's a process. If it's public service, a technical clearance is given. You go through the processes, the interview, all those other things. The financial clearance is done. These things don't take just a month or 2 months.
And you have proof that all these processes, due processes, were adhered to.
But if they were not adhered to, how come they were given employment? I don't know about how other state agencies, some of the state enterprises and all those things, because some of them are not on controller payroll, but HR fundamentals are the same. You just don't call somebody an employee. If there are people that have been employed in that manner, why not? If they were not duly employed. But if you are saying that you are not going to sack people, and now everybody who is seen, and they have a whole team that is going around and pointing people and relatives of MPP faithfuls and MPP members and pastors who are in mainstream public service or the mainstream institution, laying them off. Is that the Ghana he promised us?
Okay.
Is that the Ghana for all the president promised us?
Okay.
Is that the statement that he made that he's
allow
not
her,
going
because
to
you
sack
took the wind from her
anybody?
mouth, so let her now.
Is that the meaning of the statement he made?
Annie, she's here talking about political vindictiveness. Up until the year 2000, we didn't even know something like proceed on leave existed for public and civil servants. Who was it that came into office and sacked quality manpower, technical people out of our public and civil servants? And the guys that they're supposed to be political. When a regime had been in existence for well over 19 years, you call people who have been employed by the system as political whatever, and almost 100,000 civil and public sector workers, in fact, and their households were left in the cold, dry. Didn't even give them end of service benefits for them to go and reset themselves. Under Akufo-Addo, 2017, did you not write letters sacking public sector workers again? In fact, I've had an encounter with some police boys who told me that they were recruited in the last 3 months of 2016. And when the NPP administration came to office, they did some rationalization and they almost sacked them, even though they had gone through normal recruitment, bought forms by themselves, gone through the entire processes. NPP came and during the transition, and I recall seeing Felix on TV, and you are a media person, so you should bear me out, whether I'm lying or I'm speaking the truth. And I recall the NDC transition, telling the NPP transition to be clear on who they were recruiting, because there were reports that there was massive recruitment going on all over, especially in the security services. As at 9th December, when you have lost an election, what business do you have sending recruits to training centers all over the country, from prison service to police service to immigration service, all of them?
It's a process. So maybe they had gotten to a point where that's what was supposed to have been
at
done.
the transition. If that point had been made clear to the NDC,
it wouldn't have been a debate.
It wouldn't have been an issue for the NDC to tell them that do away with this appointment. It's because the LPP at the time was refusing to share the data on who were being recruited into the system. And as much as the NDC side was calling for the numbers and who these people, and when this protest started, the LPP was opposed and they were doing what it is that they wanted to do, because all they cared about was how to pump people onto government payroll. And as I said, when you get on government payroll, it's about the ability of government to pay. We are already complaining about, when you look at our national income accounting and how much money we are spending on wages and salary and compensation, already about over 30% of our GDP goes into payment of salaries for public sector workers alone. Not even workers in the entire country. The entire money collected for this country, 30% is just being used to take care of 600,000 people. And all you care about is how to add more numbers to that 600,000 people. So, simple matter.
Didn't they promise
a cohesive
system? One job for 3 people, and you are sacking those who are already in. Are they not supposed to be adding on? So, isn't that the promise you made?
Gabriela Land.
You
said one job, 3 what? 3, but they had a formula. They had a formula. They said one job, 3 people, 3 shifts. They had a 1 3 3 1 3 3 something.
Agencies and companies operate
so what are you talking about?
24-hour economy system. It is not for the general government, civil service and public service. Stop this mischief. I mean, it's like this morning. This morning, all your attempts to hold on to trust is backfiring. Everything you are trying to grab on, you can't hold on. And then you just keep slipping and slipping and slipping and slipping.
So every
point you have made this morning, I've had to come out and make notice of everything you have said. I was hoping that at least you will sit down just 5 seconds, reorganize your thoughts, and try and come with something much more stronger. I can debate with.
You made
everything you are coming at me this morning is just trivial rubbish.
Of one job, 3 people. So what are you talking about? Reducing wage bill and all that? You didn't know?
That is within the 24-hour
You just made that promise for the sake of making promises. Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
Didn't they promise one job for 3 people and 3 shifts?
Have you seen some of the? I'm sorry. Have you seen some of the institutions already announcing the 24-hour economy?
Passport office
has started.
Announcing it is one thing.
No, but they've started.
But did you also
the minister has been there
to based on what was said? Passport office, yes, that's one institution. And apart from I think the biometrics that you had to move, you did everything online. The filling of the forms and everything.
So the processing of the booklets too is online.
Come again?
So the processing of the booklets too is online.
No, but you just don't say passport office and just leave it there. We need to understand how you're going to implement it.
Yeah, but if you fill online,
you just don't announce
that.
Because on the back of it, he said, he said 100 people. He said 100 people.
You sit in your house, you
he said you're going to employ 100 people, right?
On
the back of, I read on the back of the implementing the 24-hour thing, they said they were going to employ other people, 100 more people. Is 100 people for the entire foreign ministry and its affiliate agency, so it was just for the passport office. Sometimes they need to be clear about these things. You see, one thing I've learned in this...
But one thing we have to take note. One thing we have to take note is that the 24-hour economy definitely is for companies, agencies, even private sector can partake.
Are you redefining it?
No.
When we sat here and said critical services and all that, even the police were already running those
I'm just saying,
shifts.
I'm just saying that institutions that definitely need,
like which one?
If there's a need for a night.
Now you are redefining it for them?
No, I'm not redefining. I'm just telling you.
That is actually what it is.
That's what it is.
Maybe you don't understand it.
But it already existed, and they made it what their flagship promise. So my question is, listen, Annie, don't let us
watching joints. Hold on, there's some watching joints at Community 4. If I hadn't known that this watching operates 24 hours, I wouldn't have known that people eat watching at 2 a.m.
Annie, I sat on this show and I told you that where I buy my cocoa, the woman sells in the morning and sells in the evening.
So that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Sells in the morning and sells
what I'm trying to
say.
There
are some places that they sell. Annie, there were some food, and I even sat here and told you that there are even some foods like wache, right? That, I mean, I don't know whether by psyching ourselves or not. It was like a meal that you get in the morning. But now you get even coconut.
Yes.
Even vulcanizers. At a particular time in the day, you may not have gotten that. There are some that run all this, but it's something that is existing. But my question is...
So what the man is saying, what the man president is saying is that I'm going to institute a system that will recognize these operations.
And my question is, don't also forget that at a point when the questions were coming, they were forced to say it's voluntary, added all kinds of things. My question is,
because you have to register
as
for
candidates, oh, you have to register for it?
Yes.
Oh, there'll be a whole
Yes, you have to
secretariat for it.
Oh, wow.
It comes with incentives and everything.
Okay. And
you didn't know
but
that.
my question is,
after all this while that we've been talking about 24-hour economy, you have to use to understand. Hey,
forgive me, but this stuff. My question is, you promised that one job, and that advert was clear. It didn't say one private sector job, one voluntary company's job. It didn't say one public sector job. It said one job.
3 shifts.
3 shifts, 3 people. What was it? It said what? 133. That was the formula they were moving on with. On the back of that too, His Excellency the President, then candidate, said that he is not like the sitting government. He won't come and sack anybody. He made those statements.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that if there's anything that he finds it morally not right or illegal,
so
you will still be maintained.
He made that statement ignorantly.
No, there were conditions attached.
Okay, then campaign is over.
Okay,
Ghanaians give him an endorsement. Okay. Then he comes and there's a blanket statement that anybody that was employed after 7th December, they are revoking all those things. Then you have Felix. I listened to him on City Eyewitness News, and he said, and he had choice of words that he was using. He said some, most, right? So if it's some or most in certain institutions, what informed the blanket decision that everybody employed after 7th? And now we are seeing letters of people who were employed in September, in November, being affected. Are they not Ghanaians? Is that how we...
there's a labor commission to address some of these things. So if you think that your employment took effect in September and it's affected, you go to labor commission to seek redress. But as for what has happened after December 7th,
and said that they have no case against government. But let's also bear in mind that individuals, by virtue of our nature, even if these youth want to push it, you have their parents and certain people advising them not to do it because it's what? Because it's government. You get it?
I've had an exclusive with labor experts who have indicated that.
Look at these things.
And to go back, hold on, they've indicated that no matter how far they take this, they are not going to win the case.
Because it's government.
These are... No.
It's government.
No, the reason giving was not because it's government. The reason giving is the reasons the government, the current government is giving. That you have lost elections. We've told you not to employ people after you lose elections. And then you decide to pack them on. There was a transition team. And you were not transparent within that transition process. Then what do you expect?
One of the things that I learned after the elections was that probably, and I may be wrong, probably if we paid attention to doing what we had promised the people of Ghana. I mean, a lot of the promises that were made were fulfilled. But if we hadn't paid attention to these, Gabi and her team trying to take us back, maybe. So I've avoided going back to reference bad
Let me do this. We have to
but
go
if you remember, in 2016, when current president was president and had lost election and were given appointments, someone like the former Auditor General's letter
was already
signed
in the
16.
system.
What did you say?
He was already in the system.
What did you
say? In the public sector.
Thank you. His letter was signed where? Was it Shiraj? Their letters were signed. And what justification did His Excellency the President give them?
You are not listening to me. I'm saying that the former Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, is that not what you're talking about?
No.
That letter that's been circulating for some time. Daniel Domelevo was already in the public sector. He was not a new person who was coming into...
When was he appointed as Auditor General?
His appointment came on the back that he was already in the system.
If his appointment independently checked, if all the people being, the appointments being revoked
were already in the system.
The process was not before the 7th. Have you
Okay, then they should take that.
So
they'll
you
have
shouldn't
a case.
be making this.
No,
you shouldn't be making
I am
this
making a
thing.
case.
If you had
Hold on.
allowed
Lara,
me to land, what I'm saying,
no,
what I'm
I don't
saying
want
is,
you to take this out of control.
No. Let me finish.
You've had this
let me
morning.
finish
You've had
my
a
point.
lot of time. Even when she starts, you take the wind out of her mouth.
She
and I don't
invites
talk.
me.
No, you don't say she
invites
invites
me
you.
by
You take
mention.
it.
She refers
You've taken
to
the
me.
time. Hold on. I'm saying that. I am saying about Domelevo because I did my own checks about him. He's
But you
one.
haven't bothered to do the checks about these young Ghanaians that are being sacked.
I did my checks. That is why I am confident about what I'm
And
saying.
you haven't bothered to do checks on these young Ghanaians that are being sacked.
These hundreds of people that have gone home, it would take us a while to come to a conclusion on all of them because it's quite a number, right? As to whether they were in the system.
It's quite a number.
Yes, of course. As to whether
they
were. Stop doing this. As to whether they were in the system before or not, I cannot tell for now. I can't conclude. But if some of them, if some of them think that they were already in a system and they were probably moved from one point to the other and they have a case, take it up and stop dragging the matter. No?
Annie, what the point I was making was that there were appointments that were made after 2016, 7 December. And the justification the president then gave was that his power of a president or a government, the tenure, ends on the 9th of 6th January. Not just because you lost an election. And whatever he was doing was in the interest of the nation and good governance. You get it? That was when he was swearing one of the people he had appointed into power. Have they checked with those things? Is this what he promised? Are people supposed to lose their jobs just because they are affiliated with a particular party?
I just want to say a very special good morning to my HR Ohenewa. Good morning to you and thank you for the message. I've seen it. I'll come to your office right after the show. But Gaiji as well, good morning to you.
Stop it.
Gaiji, thank you. I've seen your message. I've seen your message. Good morning. I'm reading messages. But Ambassador Edith Hazel has texted. She says that please ask Lara to whether the NDC gave timelines for the implementation of the 24-hour economy. There are processes to be followed. Please ask her to produce evidence. Ambassador Edith Hazel is the one that sent that in. She doesn't understand the Chumbafo says that, hello, Annie. Please tell Lara too that I recommend a departure from cocoa to Oblayo with 38% evaporated milk. It will help her to be less disruptive. If Lara too wants a monologue, she should be approaching the management of Ignite Media or Metro TV and then sack Johnny and give her his spots. Okay. We've heard your message. Evans,
I would have been surprised if you hadn't sent
Gary
a
says that,
message.
Annie, good morning. The anger in the NDC grassroots is that the NPP is always taking NDC leniency as weaknesses. Now, after handing over power to Kufuor in 2000, thousands of Ghanaians were sacked, including the whole 64 battalion in the Ghana Army was dissolved. Nation mobilization staff and head departments told by mouth to go home. In 2008, Professor Mills took over power, and corrected that the bad practice via adapting Father for All mantra, and no one was sacked. Then it came to NPP, Nanado era in 2016, and over 30,000 Ghanaians sacked. Thankfully, NDC is in power today. Why should NDC allow them when no one talks when the NPP is doing same inhumane activities to Ghanaians? This must stop with the NPP government, not the NDC. Tell Laratu that they should wait and stop when the grandchildren in NPP takes power. I don't know if that's a threat. I'm sure it's an advice. Mansa Musa from UK says that the oral citrip, you're so far so good. One sick one has reported taking himself off the fugitive list by promising a speedy return to base for questioning. One arrested and bailed on Sky train issues. Many more to follow. Watch the space. The cleanup process has begun on a study. But Annie, this is what I term is a talking in circles. This conversation about revocation of public employment. What we know is that the reps of the incoming administration during the transition talks did raise concerns regarding those appointments and employments. Now we're making it look as if the new government is being harsh and irresponsible instead of attacking the source of the problem. That is the cynical ploy by outgoing governments to overburden a new government with the shock of bloated public payroll. If the incoming administration had not sounded cautions during the transition engagements, and they would if the incoming administration had not sounded cautions during the transitional engagements, then they would have had no justification for their actions in government now. Surely some of those appointments will be necessary. Will be unnecessary. Let's allow the new government to decide. Thanks for Mansa Musa UK. My question really is, there was a time Osafo Mafo said the public sector is bloated. We couldn't employ anymore, we had hit. Another question that follows, now my question is, when did we have gaps in the public sector to fill in? Let's take a breather, we'll be back shortly.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bready poor mattress anymore? Don't some slippers then follow me.
It is part of the mattress we did the front end.
Yeah?
Happiness mattress where the dead go.
Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like Ash Foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
In an era where fire safety is paramount, Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited stands out as a leader in the development of innovative fire dousing solutions. With a focus on aqueous film forming foam, the company provides a cutting-edge product that significantly enhances fire suppression capabilities across various sectors, including maritime, industrial, and emergency response.
The oil and gas sector, along with chemical manufacturing facilities and fire services.
Kabori's advanced film technology offers a more efficient and environmentally responsible alternative.
Kabori is recognized for its superior extinguishing capabilities and prolonged resistance to reignition. Kabori's product is certified by the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Standards Authority, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Nigerian Standards Organization.
Kabori Film Compound Limited is situated in Nsawam within the eastern region of Ghana. For inquiries, reach out to them on 0245-885-288 or 0244-514-048. You may also contact them via email at info@kaborifilm.com. Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited, providing film compound solutions to help institutions.
Customer, I don't know who to say.
Malaria been actually on my number, still.
One of them give us.
Give
Give us a solid.
Yeah, sorry. What rest of so give us ya and tum down.
But over that song. But for me to give us the and tum down.
Give us a bad message.
Me patron the and tum down.
Customer. Give us a tum down. Pa.
Onuya kayo oba wa fafuro nom de o ma no bonu fo nom akwada wa ni mfie dumie no ono nso nom.
You the answer to my prayer. You with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight.
Mommy.
Michelle say, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Chocolate Toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste, Sankofa,
Yenchi, Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy Smile.
This advert is FD.
You're welcome back to Good Morning Ghana. I still have Lara Timusa Saka with me in the studio, and also Gabriela Tete is still with us. Now, from the issue of the public sector activities and what maybe I'll say the government is doing to help, soften the tough economy that we're faced with. There's also one promise. Lara was asking, the promises they made, they should just implement their promises. And I would say that oral was one of the promises they made. So the government, I'm not sure if these cases that the government is chasing, is one of the oral cases that were submitted to the Attorney General. And if it is, maybe we'll find out later, but it was a whole Attorney General, dossier of information collated and collected, gathered, and presented by the oral team to the Attorney General. Now, yesterday, the updates has come in that Amir Kofi, who was arrested earlier, was, released, granted bail, and his lawyer said he's not guilty. Ken Crunchy is actually lawyer for Amir Kofi. So the chairman for the Public Procurement Authority Board, Professor Christopher Amir Kofi, was taken into custody by the National Intelligence Bureau (NIB) at Kaukudi near the Nima in Greater Accra. The institution, the circumstances surrounding his detention was about the SkyTrain were told that about 2 million was paid to contractors without the job being done. Now, Professor Amir Kofi, who previously served that the Minister for Education, was reportedly apprehended by the NIB, but no official statement has been released regarding the reasons for the arrest. In response to the situation, legal team moved swiftly into action, and also lawyers representing the professor are currently engaging with NIB authorities, or they were engaging with NIB authorities. Now, in that same vein, last week we also received a letter of Abronye also being invited. Abronye had also made certain allegations about currently the president, that he is keeping about 50 million cedis. Okay, that's Abronye's letter. I hope that I can read from here. And it actually says that I'm trying to see if I can read the letter because it's quite faint. I have been instructed by the Director of Investigations of the National Intelligence Bureau (NIB) to invite you to meet him on Wednesday, 26th of February 2025 at 1,000 hours at Kaukudi. I'm sure Kaukudi is what they wanted to write, but there was a spelling mistake there. So Kaukudi in the Greater Accra region to assist the Bureau to investigate allegations leveled against His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. In the said allegation, you leveled during an interview on Movement in the Morning, a breakfast show on Movement TV hosted by Kweku Deru, Kwame Bafu, at Abronye, alleged that President John Dramani Mahama is hoarding 550 million Ghana cedis, intended for the dismissed appointees at the Jubilee House. You further accused the administration of corruption and recruitment and revocation of the process. We have also seen earlier, going through certain cases that the Attorney General feels that these cases have political undertones and interests, and they have no basis, and also they have no evidences, and so the Attorney General filed for a nolle prosequi and discontinued such cases. Those ones that still will be recalled and also followed, that one is also there. So in terms of corruption and corruption-related cases and all that, this is how far the president or this government has gone. Let's see how it advances during the week. Gabriela, so far so good, but let me read a few messages that I'm seeing here. I need to capture these before we move on. So guess what, Julius, our DVLA boss, is saying that, good morning, Annie, please tell Lara too that I have started 24 hours at DVLA for license printing. They left a huge backlog for us, and due to 24-hour project, we're now printing cards. The DVLA will soon announce to the general public for everyone to go for his card or his or her card. Thank you. So Laratu, DVLA boss is sending you this message for you to know exactly.
At least he didn't have to set up. At least he didn't have to set up the. He didn't have to install the printing. He didn't have to set up the processes for printing. So if he's adding on to what the previous administration did, that's good. How do you know that? I'm responding to his message.
So the previous administration set up a system for.
He says he's doing that.
I'm sorry. Reforms.
So they set up a system for printing.
There were a lot of reforms at DVLA during the past 8 years. So if he's building on it, that is how it's supposed to be. So you should continue.
Okay. Corruption and corruption-related cases, and how far the government has gone. Gabriela.
Annie, I think that so far, and I'm sure the people of Ghana will attest to the fact that so far His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Her Excellency Professor Nana Jane have taken the issue of the fight against corruption very seriously. His Excellency last week set the stage by declaring his assets. He's given an ultimatum to all appointees that everybody must declare their assets by the end of March. Failure to do so means that you're automatically sacked. Anybody who fails to do so does so at his or her own detriment, or whatever way you want to describe it. And as a country, we're losing roughly about $9 billion to $10 billion per annum to corruption. Over the last 8 years, we've witnessed various degrees of pilfering, of pen robbing, of decadence, of obscene corruption in this country, from Kelvin GVG to the SML scandal to a national cathedral. I mean, they scammed everybody. They even scammed God. To the national cathedral, to the SkyTrain. And you know, that's funny thing about the SkyTrain. In one of my random moving around town, one day I found myself in Marriott, and one of the promoters of this SkyTrain, I don't know whether he knew me, but he came to me and he was trying to chat. I was with a friend of mine, a female friend of mine, and he was trying to chat us up. And he gave us the whole vision for the SkyTrain. And this was after we had paid $2 million for it.
When you were in opposition?
When we were in opposition.
Okay.
This was before the 2020 election, I think 2020. And he gave us the whole vision of what the SkyTrain was about. And I was like, come on, rail line from Tema to Accra. We can't get it to work. Now, the cathedral, we can't get it to work. It is the SkyTrain that we are coming to put up in Accra here. That's by the way. And as for the issues of corruption, there was one day, one corruption under Akufo-Addo's regime. And the beauty about a democracy is that...
One corruption allegation.
Very well. The beauty about democracy is that so long as there's a change in government, there's always going to be some element of accountability. And I think that that opportunity has presented itself. And that's been one of the reasons why Ghanaians went out to vote massively for the NDC, because they were sick and tired of the obscene opulence and grand theft that was being plagued on this country. Last 2 weeks, we had reports from the Fifth Estate, or is it the Fourth Estate?
The Fourth Estate.
The Fourth Estate, about events in National Service Secretariat, where over 80,000 people, ghost names, were included in a register over a period of 8 years. And you do simple calculation.
In addition to the deputy director was also
picked
arrested.
Up. Yes, and the other one is also on the run.
Deputy executive director.
And
which
frankly,
other one is on the run?
Gifty. And
she's
frankly,
on the run, or she's...
They're looking for her. And frankly, I think that whatever, they'll find you. So I think that if you know that you are in... Let me make my point.
No,
I want to make my point. If you know that you headed this agency, this organization, and you are a wanted man, you go and report yourself and go and clear your name. Because the aggression with which these state agencies are now out to fight corruption, if your name comes up, you go quietly and clear. Even Kenofori Atakwa has changed his mind. I hear he's back now. Somebody said they saw him in the white. On
so Daily Post said NSA Deputy Director Kweko Hinijan arrested over ghost name scandals. Gifty Owari Mensah on the run. And on the run is not in code, so. Okay.
But they said they saw her at the airport in Detroit or some place like that in the US.
But I thought she was back.
Then she should go and report herself and go and clear her name. Because right now, that is the only thing that will help you. If you know that somebody also asked you to do that thing, you to go and mention the person's name, then you will stay inside. But anyway, back to the point. Now, we can no longer play ostrich, as His Excellency said, with the fight against corruption, because the people are watching. And this morning, I heard a quote that says, from the Game of Thrones, and it said, power resides where the people say it resides. And the last 4 election cycles have shown that very clearly. When you look at the numbers, how it went out in 2016, and you see the numbers, how it played out in 2024, nobody has to tell you that Ghanaians are watching, and they are watching killing. At the end of the day, power resides with them. And if we are not seen to be fixing this problem, Annie, we'll still shamelessly go cap in hand to the IMF for $3 million when we are losing $9 million per year. And it will always be the laughingstock of the rest of the world and our peers. Because for a country that is rich like Ghana, that is always exploited by a certain group of people, and another group just comes and whitewash and make up and pretend to fight corruption, that era is gone. And this is a new era. This is a time for change. The change that the people were clamoring for, this is the time to execute it. And I like the vigor and the vigorousness of our security agencies, especially the NIB. This is their mandate. I know Professor Ameyekunfi personally. I should be the last person to speak against Professor Ameyekunfi. But at the end of the day, I also recognize that when you are put in a position of authority, it comes with great responsibility that you must account for. So if monies have been paid to a company in South Africa, $2 million, for feasibility, question is, when these people came up with the idea for a SkyTrain, did they not do their own pre-feasibility before they chose to come and sell the idea to us? Why does somebody just, or is it the way the NPP administration was run, that you can just create a phantom thing in your head, very fanciful, and then taxpayers' money is just rolled out to you. Okay, you go and do the feasibility. 2 million here, this there, this there. If that is how the governance was being executed in this country, then I'm not surprised that we are in the kind of debt and the economic malaise that this country is in. Because you just gave out public funds like it was confetti. And at the end of the day, somebody has to render account. Ken Ofori-Atta is now wanted by the Office of Special Prosecutor, Professor Ameyekunfi, NIB. This deputy guy, Gifty, is wanted. As for Aboye's claim, I think that is also a good example, so that people who can sit and just make all kind of blatant allegations and stuff can go and prove. If he knows where the 500 million Ghana cedis is in Jubilee House, he should go and show them so they can take the money back to Bank of Ghana. It can do roads, it can do public sanitary, whatever. It can do a lot of things. You should go and show them where the money is, so the money goes back to Bank of Ghana to serve some purpose. But I'm very excited about how the fight against corruption is going, and I hope that the momentum will be maintained. And I also want to send this question to all appointees. The same way that people are digging up for oral and all these other fourth estates and investigative journalists that are going around looking for cases to report on. Remember that the same way somebody will also be watching you from the back. So try not to fall victim to any of these things so that we don't have to come and sit here. Because me, I can't defend anybody. I'm not good in line. You people will catch me right. So I don't want to be put in that kind of position that the way you come, you can't even come.
This girl can never get appointments. In terms of asset declaration, it is indeed a basis, and maybe a good start, we will say, because there were judges that even the president reiterated the fact that they were appointed and they didn't even declare their assets, which was quite serious.
But a lot of people don't declare assets.
I mean, but how judges?
It's not just judges. Even people at
certain
level in public service.
You don't declare your assets. How are you going to hold me? You are supposed to be implementing the law. You're supposed to ensure that I abide by the law. So if judges don't practice. That's serious.
Sometimes people, too, the way you define success, you make people who have not been able to build houses for themselves feel like they haven't achieved anything in this world. Meanwhile, success is subjective. So somebody comes and I don't have any asset. I don't have. Maybe they have some few gold jewelry. They have a land in some place where the land value is 5,000 Ghana per plot. They can't even put it out because about out of mobile and they don't even go out and say it. So it's a way the region. But I think that once His Excellency has led the way, and then has said that by March ending, if you haven't, you go out.
Yes, my problem is the March ending. Why March ending?
But don't you know what you own?
What
do you
what
need?
No, but this
you need the whole year to be able to write out what you have.
No,
if you don't have, you don't have.
No, I wanted to quote the law in situating it in the right context. It's good that he is raising the awareness. He's already filed. I don't know why he's not even urging his people to file now. Why March ending?
In any case, you're not talking about filing.
This says
they have not spoken about when there are certain jurisdictions after you declare your asset. It is published for everybody to see what you own.
Yes, but we don't
have that practice.
But
yet.
this
so
one
you just
says
that and put it in an envelope and leave it at Auditor General's office.
But even in the submission, the Article 286 Clause 4, it says that any property or assets acquired by a public officer after the initial declaration required by the Clause 1 of this article, and which is not reasonably attributed to income, gift, loan, inheritance, or any other reasonable source, shall be deemed to be an acquired contravention of the Constitution.
No, you have to justify
how
you came by it. Maybe your salary may not allow you to own that property, but maybe you've taken a mortgage. So once you're able to prove that I got this house by this so and so, you are clear. It's when you are not able to prove it, that is when issues come up.
But you have to declare before the resumption of your office too.
No, it's assumed that
that's also in the same article.
It's assumed that at the time that you got your appointment and you gave the first declaration, you had not acquired this property. But subsequently, you have acquired a new property. And you see, the thing about public office at a certain level is that the state agencies, there are state officers who are also monitoring the people who have been given these responsibilities. So every new asset that you acquire, they know. Every new vehicle you acquire and leave in your compound, they know. Any money in your account, even an account that you have not shown that you own,
yeah, but clause
they know.
1. Okay, so hold on. Clause 1, Article 286, just for the public. Clause 1, subsection A. Let me read clause 1. It says, a person who holds a public office mentioned in clause 5 of the article shall submit to the Auditor General a written declaration of all property or assets owned or liabilities owned by him, whether or not indirectly or indirectly. A, within 3 months after the coming into force of the Constitution or before taking office, as the case may be. Before taking office, as the case may be.
That is what it says. And the point I'm making is that over the period, there are some people who have not complied with it. There are some who, before they went into office, have declared their assets, the law-abiding ones. And there are those who know that unless it is enforced, you can get away with it. Because, as I said, you understand?
Okay. Okay.
So, but once you are in office, and His Excellency has made it clear that right now it is mandatory that once you are in office as his appointee, you must declare. And up until March ending. So we are waiting for His Excellency. As at March ending, those who have not declared.
So he has even given some laxity that declare.
If you don't know what you own, go and think about what you own.
But you don't have to necessarily own anything. If you don't own anything, the time frame by the law is that declare before you assume office. So declare. That's
for
why
the
I'm saying
law-abiding ones.
Yes, that's why I'm saying that even taking them to March is still a breach of the law.
I'm not using the word law-abiding.
Okay, so Laratu.
Annie, when it comes to corruption, I've always maintained that any move, any action towards making things right, towards fighting corruption, I fully endorse it. I come from one of the most deprived regions in this country. It's by grace and probably by decisions my parents were guided by. That is why I sit where I sit. But coming from where I come from, when you look at the numbers of people who get the opportunities some of us have gotten, any fight against corruption is non-negotiable. So anything to save this country money, anything to save this country from leaking purses must be fully endorsed, especially by those of us in the North. I was amazed when last year I had the opportunity to be at a commissioning of a project in a town that is supposed to be developed or developing as against the other towns, more like in a district capital. They're supposed to see more development.
Like a semi-urban.
Yes, more development than the other towns and villages in the same district. And open defecation
was
not an
Accra?
issue. No, not Accra. I don't come from Accra.
So where you went to was
Do you
not
know,
in Accra?
No, it was not in Accra.
So you went to the northern areas?
Honey, by virtue of what I was doing before I got into frontline politics at the Ministry of Health, I traveled around this country a lot. Even if not for that, I come from Savannah, then northern region. Both parents come from there, but we are patrilineal, so I come from my father's side. From where we used to live in, well, we used to live in Mem before we went to Obuasi.
We have a few minutes to go.
If you're moving from Obuasi to the borough, Empire, Kobusu, or Lampo, I'll definitely pass through Ashanti region, pass through then Brown-Ahafo, and go there. If I was going to my mother's hometown, I'll also pass through those regions and go. So even if not for the work that I did, I saw, but by virtue of what I did at Ministry of Health, I traveled around this country very well. And corruption hasn't done us any good. That's why I said any fight against it is something that everybody must support. Look, and especially in the northern and rural areas, that a lot of interventions are brought by NGOs. You can imagine the impact on the northern sector now that USAID is pulling out. All those things. So if any decision to get our money back from anybody who has taken our money must be supported, but not in what I term using corrupt ways to also get people to do these things. I'm sure we can go as far back when we want to give examples, but where do those things end? You mentioned about Professor Ekumfi being arrested. You read a letter inviting Abronye. Annie, when I saw that letter, the first thing that came to mind was
there's also a declaration of assets that we...
Japa document.
No, I'm saying that there's also the declaration of assets.
Declaration of assets. And I totally agree with Gabi. The way we do it doesn't really give meaning to it. You fill a form, put it in an envelope. At least when I was submitting mine, the officer who took it looked at it and corrected. So there were certain places that were not filled or corrected. But I think that's about all that anybody sees. Well, because before you present it, you don't need to seal the envelope. It's when they've checked to be sure that you are, and they are not even assessing it. They are just looking at how you filled it. Before you seal it, they take it and you leave. Maybe we should look at it. And we should also look at how we conduct ourselves in our communities. I was telling someone the other day, Christmas just passed. People took hampers from people that ideally they shouldn't be taking hampers from. Someone just gets a political appointment and they demands people that are not even supposed to be asking them for favors are doing that.
That's
How
what's
do we
causing
fight
people
it?
to be
It's all
corrupt.
part of it.
It's
all part of it.
It's causing the public
Ramadan is
servants
coming.
to be...
Ramadan is coming in a few days. People will be taking sugar and other things from people they are not supposed to be taking from. So if we don't go beyond just going after, not going after, oh, I've always maintained the Gabi. You know that has always been my stance. If we don't go beyond just the political operating and we maintain it, it will be a circus. MPP will come, go after NDC. So NDC will come, go after
this
MPP.
chicken and egg,
Then,
this chicken and egg situation.
You remember
what gives what? Is it the demand from the people that's making public servants corrupt, or is the corruption?
It's not everybody.
Because,
like you said, it's a chicken and egg situation.
Well, I'm just trying to put it safely.
It's not everybody that can resist pressure. It's not everybody that can say that what you're asking me for, I don't have it. Right? There are people that don't believe.
So they decide to steal.
If I open my Facebook Messenger or I open my WhatsApp messages for you after every show, you'll be amazed.
No, so Lara, did you steal because they were demanding things from you?
No, what did I steal?
Did you steal?
Me. I can't steal.
So why must anybody be justified for being corrupt? So the National Service Secretariat.
The name I carry.
So the National Service Secretariat.
The name I carry will not even allow me to entertain such thoughts.
Authority scandal.
Annie,
the ghost names.
Look.
Were the graduates forcing them to be put on the list?
I wasn't at National Service Secretariat. There's an allegation that has been made by an institution. The people involved have also come with their side of the story. An investigation has to be conducted for us to go. But we also shouldn't do an go about it just because someone wants to victimize another person. They've given their side of the story. They released a statement. The former executive secretary and one of the deputies were even on a Good Evening Ghana to explain. They've been speaking, they've been granting interviews. The immediate past deputy for operations was arrested, and that's what I'm saying. Why arrest someone you want to come and help in an investigation? Did they refuse to appear? You invite them if they don't want to come and all that. But this attitude of making it seem as if you are all those things compromise your evidence and your process. And you don't laugh. Look, if you remember, after elections, when we met in that studio, I think Shamima was the one I was on set with. And we're talking about this. Great. You want to go after people accused or alleged to have done something untoward. Nothing stops you from that. But when will this circus start? But that is why I've always maintained.
You mean when it will end?
1992 to, let's say, 1993 to 2001, NDC was in power. 2001 to 2009, MPP was in power. They are examples, right? 2009 to 2017, MPP, NDC came back into power. The same process.
Same what?
Same going after, the process of going after
2009.
people. 2009 to 2016.
Which case was prosecuted?
Oh, there were a lot of people, about 48 of past appointees, President Kufuor's appointee. But none of them were found guilty anyway. Now we are in a new cycle. We've done 16 of pushing each other. Now you have a president that has been through it all. Are we going to continue with this cycle? Are we going to end it? Don't also forget that there's a lot of rage, and I feel very bad because you talk to colleagues that you know that can contribute so much to this country, but they don't want to come in because of the whole political tag that they will get, and we are losing
that's
on
because
it.
the
Because it's like the
class...
moment you get into politics, you are tagged a thief.
You see,
you are stereotyped
the current majority, you
get
leader,
into it, your privacy
the current majority
is gone.
leader, Mama Yariga, had a bit of some banter, not a banter, but I think it was an address by the minority leader, and then came the majority leader. The minority leader went on the path of, suggesting that the political class must protect themselves.
Yes, because there's a lot of anger against the political class.
So
and that's not limited to only the MPP.
So this is how the majority leader came in. He said, if you create the impression that the political class is protecting themselves, we will actually stand to lose this democracy. Because the people, and you know that our voter population is becoming enlightened by the day. They will vote against you because they will know that you are now beginning to protect yourself.
Have you followed the voter trend?
So let's be careful the narrative we are trying to turn.
Have you followed the voter trend from 1992?
Yes.
Let's even compare 2020, where we had a seeming hung parliament. And now look at the overwhelming endorsement that was given to the government in power. That should tell you something.
Okay.
It's like we are trying. We've tried 8 years. We tried a hung parliament. Now we are trying absolute majority. But one thing, you see, when you also give the impression, and how well do you solve it? In the past government, the Maslock head, has she been brought back? Has she been found?
No.
Is she back?
Yeah, but she's been convicted.
That is where you show that kind of commitment. The Attorney General, did I hear the Attorney General, correct me if I'm wrong, did I hear the Attorney General say that he's not touching Mr. Chachikwesin's case because the man wants to prove his innocence? What about the ones that he's filed nolle prosequi for?
He has established...
Are they guilty?
No.
Or they are not guilty? Sometimes we need to also be careful about some of these things. Why are you letting them off?
No,
they are
but
not guilty.
You see, they are not guilty
on
those cases.
Why not? Just like
like
Mr. Jachikwesin says he wants to prove his innocence.
The Attorney General was very clear.
The
The Attorney General was very clear when we were there.
Yes.
There were questions that were thrown by the journalist. One answer he gave, I think it was Alfred that asked that question, and he said he doesn't want it. And the question was about Gregory Afoko, and he said he didn't want to take arbitrary decisions. He wanted to look at the cases in summary and then establish reasonable basis for his subsequent decisions, which is what he did. And he actually stated the basis. In fact, I think because of time we can't put it out. But he said that he had to establish, arbitrary was not what he was doing, but to establish, go through the summary of the cases and establish a reasonable base for which you want to, quash this case or just, file for the nolle
on the back of the information you gave with respect to a majority leader saying that the impression you give, the narrative you give.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking this question. But the other thing too is, you mentioned the CLOSAG strike, right? What was the reason for local government workers association staying away? Because there's an issue in court since 2022. Why hasn't that been looked at? They are on strike. Shouldn't it be looked at? Is it only the politically
my time is
exposed
up.
people
Let me
issues
read
that
it.
you can?
Okay, so this one says, good morning, Annie. How does the opposition, MPP, expect the deep mess created by their own maladministration to be cleaned up in just over 47 days? What the president has done in the past few weeks eclipses the 8 years of debt, corruption, mismanagement, which Ghanaians have been inundated with during the regime of the MPP. David Edu from Tema constituency, Tema East constituency centered in. But this one also says that, Annie, Ambassador Hazel, I can see this coming. But this was, Annie, I hear Mrs. Saka saying, Miss Saka, please, saying that His Excellency John Mahama should get to work. That's surprising indeed. Or is Laratu no longer living in Ghana anymore? Well, for her information, tertiary residential user fees have been reduced from 3,000 cedis to 2,500 cedis. Hajj fares equally has been reduced. Those appointees under their corrupt regime who have embezzled the hard-earned taxpayers' cash are equally being invited to be investigated, so that the Ghana can get what is due it as a country. Prosper, your friend says that, Annie. I've met Gabriela on the show.
I have a lot of
She's
friends.
looking fine, Papa. It's always a fine pairing with her and my good friend Laratu. Charlie, the way GM is going about the fight against corruption, I suggest that the people who, in one way or the other, have engaged, named, or participated in any form of corruption should brace themselves. This time round, like Bukom Banku said, or Bukom Banku will say, there would be no super in the nation.
More than 80% of global trade is carried by sea. Most of the products we consume daily travel through ports, making them a key link in the global supply chain. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is committed to ensuring the enhancement, resilience and sustainability of port infrastructure and maritime trade. Get to know which vessel is bringing your goods, how much duty you are required to pay, and how quickly you can clear your goods from the ports of Ghana. We ask the relevant questions